Hello YouTube, this is Without Rule of Law coming at you with a knife comparison video. And of course you clicked on this video, so you already saw the title, which is Ganzo G710 versus Benchmade 950 Rift Copy versus Original. Yes, the subject of this video is, can a copy of an original outperform the original? I mean, we're talking about the Ganzo 710, which is a Chinese-made knife for around, I would say, $25. That's what I paid in euros. And we have the Benchmade 950 Rift, which is a US-produced knife for around 160-ish, I would say. I paid about that price in euros. And the big questions that you would ask yourself is, since this G710 is considered a copy, are they actually the same? And moreover, is the quality the same? Which, you know, if that is true, then you would ask yourself, does that mean I can get a $100 plus value from a $25 knife, you know? And which one should I buy if that's the case? Well, just cutting to the chase, yeah, these knives are the same, but they're not the same. That might sound a little bit cryptic to you, but let's put it this way. The look is the same, but the feel is not the same. Let's start with the excellent Benchmade 950 Rift. Okay, so this is a US produced knife, and it has 154 cm steel. Let me turn this over. And G10 scales, and it features the well-known axis lock, which is actually a invention of Benchmade. And by the way, this is a little bit of a side note, but the G710, the name is kind of interesting because the first Benchmade knife to use the axis lock was the Benchmade 710. So yeah, that's a little bit of a reference. I think that's not a coincidence. I think they put it in there on purpose. So if you have a good look at the knife, then you'll see, both knives I should say, then you'll see that they definitely look the same. I mean, in terms of size, design, they both have the sheep's foot knife, reverse tanto, whatever you want to call it. Of course the blade steel is different because the materials are different. It's basically 440 steel, I think you can see it here, versus the Benchmade 154 cm. So in finish they look different too, because you know the Benchmade has a kind of matte finish on the 154, and the Ganzo has a more or less polished finish. That's not the only difference. When you again look at the knives, they kind of look the same, but I'm telling you, if you would pick up the knives, you would immediately feel the difference. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but let me get into that a little bit more. So both knives feature the axis lock, or better said, maybe a copy of the axis lock. I'll get into that a little bit later. But basically the biggest difference between the knives is the weight. You'll immediately feel the difference between the Benchmade here on the left and the Ganzo 710 on the right. Let's make that a little bit more, what do you call it, noticeable when I put on the scales here. I hope you can see that. Let me turn them on. Let's wait till it zeroes in. Okay, let's start out with the original, which is the Benchmade. So that comes in at 136 grams. Notice that I put a lanyard on the G710, but you know, it's not that big. 136 versus 160 grams. Okay, difference, steel material, the liners. Also, this knife is definitely a little bit wider, the Ganzo is, in comparison with the Benchmade. The Benchmade is definitely a little bit slimmer, slicker and lighter. And one of the bigger things you'll notice is immediately when you look at the knives and you compare the thickness of the blade. Here you see definitely that the Ganzo knife has a thicker blade. If you look at the design of the 950, you'll see it gets like a lot of slimmer here, and here you can see the difference. It's noticeable. You know, at the tip they're about the same, and at the larger part of the knife they're the same, but they are definitely not the same when it comes to thickness. Hopefully it focuses here and you can see it. You see? So actually you get more steel with the Ganzo than you get with the Benchmade, which makes up the difference in weight, and also the fact, another difference in weight, the liners are thicker. Now also we have a different clip design, which on the right hand side you have the Benchmade, on the left the Ganzo again, and quite honestly, to be really honest, I don't like the clip design of the Benchmade that much. I kind of like the more generic look of the Ganzo on the left more. Quite honestly, I think this is a little bit of a penis shaped design. Maybe it's me, and that's what I like less about the Benchmade. However, if you look at the scales, the handles, both are G10 by the way, they're similar. They both are pretty grippy. Another difference, Ganzo put like a kind of wimpy attempt to have some jimping on the spine of the knife as well, whereas the Benchmade doesn't have anything like that. I mean, it's non-existent. So yeah, weight difference, you'll feel it immediately when you hold the knife. Now let's get to the axis lock, or better said, the copy of the axis lock. This is the original. Again, the first time Benchmade used it was in the Benchmade 710, and the Ganzo 710 has a axis lock lookalike, I would say. However, I'm not quite sure if it's an exact copy or what is going on with the axis lock on the Ganzo, but it does feel a little bit different. Let me show you what I mean with that. If I hold a knife like this and I pull the axis lock, you'll see this happening. See? The knife just falls down. When I do the same with the Benchmade, nothing happens. See? It's not, I have to like wiggle the knife a little bit. There is a difference. I can't put my finger on it quite yet, but there seems to be a difference between the knives. Again, the Benchmade not doing anything. I have to wiggle it. And here's the Ganzo, and it just falls down by its own weight. I heard rumors that Ganzo actually licenses the lock from the axis lock from Benchmade, but I haven't been able to confirm that yet. Okay, so the finish, if you look at it, the Ganzo knife is really close to the Benchmade, and I have to say that it's almost perfect. You know, if you think about the fact that this is like a $25 blade and this is like a $150 blade, plus blade, then I'm not in any way disappointed. I mean, value for money on the Benchmade, the Ganzo is like really off the scale. Does it mean I like it better than my Benchmade? Not really. However, in the daily use, you can understand which one I'm going to carry a lot more than the other. Yeah, the Ganzo, because you know, for $25 I don't care if it gets speed up or not. So bottom line of this 10-minute plus video is, can you get the same $100 value from a $25 knife? And they're not the same, but in terms of value for money, I'm sorry to say, but this Ganzo beats the Benchmade hands down. In cool factor, I don't think it does, because I still like the look and feel of my Benchmade way better than my Ganzo. But you know what? A other user that I've seen on YouTube, I'm gonna annotate it, a guy called Carter, he whacked the shit out of this Ganzo just to test the axis lock, and he made a comparison and he abused the knife pretty hard, and it held up. It was holding up against you know, other knives he has, which is pretty amazing if you again think about the fact that this is a $25 knife, $25 knife, and this is a $150, $160 plus knife. Which one should you get? Well, if you're into nice American-made knives that have you know, good quality control, then you should probably go for the Benchmade. You know, if you have the money, why not? If you don't have the money and you're looking for a really good knife, value for money, I would definitely say that you won't be disappointed by the Ganzo knife. If you can find it online, I'm not quite sure where to get it. Then the G710, I mean outside of Europe, because I'm in Europe, then I think the Ganzo is like a pretty nice choice. I have to say, I'm pretty amazed by what you can get for your money. So, copy versus original, and I think that it's fair to say that the Ganzo is entering a whole new territory of value for money. And having said that, I still think that, yeah, the Benchmade is probably the better knife, but yeah, they have to watch out, because that Chinese quality of the Ganzo knife is really amazing. And on that bombshell, I'm gonna say goodbye, and hopefully see you in a next video where I'll be reviewing, finally, the Sanrenmu T08 knife. I showed an unboxing of this knife in a different video, and it's time for me to review it after several months of ETCing it. Be safe and see you next time.